Hey everybody, what's going on? Juan here, welcome back to the channel, and for this video, I want to talk about something very special as we head off into the summertime. And no, I'm not talking about the beaches or the sand or any of that stuff, maybe pina colada, because you would think that because I live in the Caribbean, I would be interested in those things, but no, because I am here to talk about E3. And for this video in particular, we're going to be switching this into two different topics. So number one, what does E3 mean for me and possibly for you? So something that I would love for you to do, let me know, like, what does E3 mean for you? Or is it something you're truly excited about? When did you first hear about it versus when did you first witness the event? Or have you even been to E3 as a whole, which I have not been able to be there? And then the second topic is going to be about my E3 wish list. What are some of the things that I would love to see announced there, which I think, looking at the list, is fairly real. I know some people have unrealistic expectation about some things, but given the leaks that we got with Walmart, Ubisoft, Bethesda, I don't think we're in, and I hope to be proven wrong, but I don't think we're going to be seeing this larger than life, ultra reveal E3, but hopefully I'm wrong. So let's start things off with the first topic, which is, what does E3 mean for me? And for me, it's always been very special because I remember reading about E3 in GamePro, EGM, checking out Electronic Boutique and seeing pictures about the event. And every now and then, via a PlayStation Underground disc or demo disc, you would see a little bit of footage. I remember one of the first times I saw E3 was Crash Bandicoot, the character reveal. Same thing with Donkey Kong Country on the Super Nintendo, a little bit before that. So E3 has always been special to me because it's the reveal. It's showing you not necessarily what's going to be happening in the next 5 months to a year, but what can you expect from the next consoles, the next graphic, the sequels to the games that you love to play. And it's really that anticipation because, before, nothing was as accessible as it is now with phones, with everything. So to me, hearing about Los Angeles, California, these different, video game expos, it was like, whoa, man, I am never going to be able to go there. That is so far apart, as opposed to 2018, that even though I cannot personally attend the event, it's really not far off because all I got to do is grab my phone. I can quickly check some updates. I can check out a live stream. And I do love that, although it's become a bit of a less special event. And I do say that because information is so accessible now that a lot of companies, they have the tendency to reveal a lot of their stuff a couple of weeks before E3. And I mean, we've seen that right now. I mean, we got Rage 2 being revealed, which is something that I don't think anybody was really asking for, but we got it nonetheless. Plus, perhaps we got a new Just Cause game, and it's a lot of stuff that if it does happen now, and we do see gameplay footage in E3, that's cool, but there's no longer that excitement factor. Although, I would love to know, would you have actually marked out? Would you have been super excited if you had found out about Rage 2 and E3? Please let me know. The other and the main thing that I love about E3 has got to be the press conference events with Microsoft, Nintendo, Xbox, and any of the other companies that host this hour to maybe 2 hour event. And it's an entire spectacle. It's like you're watching a theater play because companies like Sony tend to have this artsy thing, with live performances and stuff like that. Although, admittedly, they were not always like that, depending on, Jack Tretton or other people. Sometimes they would only have PowerPoint presentations. Hey, we sold X amount of consoles. And luckily, they didn't realize that we as gamers, we don't care about that. I know that us as consumers were maybe not the primary audience for something like E3, but as time has gone by, they've even let consumers into the event, which has been, largely debated of whether it is or not a good idea. I think it's best if they actually don't, put consumers in there and they save it for something like a PAX, which I hope to be able to attend this year with PAX West, because when you have a little bit of everything, it's got to be very difficult for these companies to be able to figure out, okay, so what does my booth look like for press versus consumers? And to sort of close off this first part, it really is about expecting the unexpected for me. And to this, I remember when we recently got the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy announcement. I think it was a year or 2 years before that we got kind of a tease that something like that may happen. And everybody was speculating online, oh, wait, who owns the IP? Can they even make something like that? And it actually did end up happening, which got us very excited. And you can go all the way back to the PlayStation 3, the price reveal, which was insane, $600. But it did make a lot of sense when you thought about the Blu-ray player versus, a standalone Blu-ray player price. And it's about how are these companies, going to try to win us over, which I believe should be the ultimate goal, which is You have Xbox, you have Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, you have all these different companies. What are your exclusives? What are your price points? What are your bundles? Like, what is your long-term goal for these companies? Are we going to have a lot more iterations about a certain console, especially when you think about something like Xbox One versus Xbox One X and PS4 versus PS4 Pro? Is Nintendo going to follow suit with maybe a handheld-only Nintendo Switch, or maybe a beefier one that can have a better performance on a handheld mode? I don't know. So without further ado, let's talk about that second part, which is my E3 wish list. And before I talk about my wish list, I guess it's worth pointing out that I do own an Xbox One, PS4, PS4 Pro as well, Nintendo Switch, and a PC. So I just like to play video games. So I'm not, here to do a console fanboy fan war. I just want good video games at good prices, and I hope that all of them knock it out of the park with delivering some pretty cool announcements. So I'm going to be talking about Nintendo first because it's one of the companies that I'm most excited to see what they really have to showcase. I have a list for everything, so I'm going to make sure I go one by one so I don't leave anything out. When I first wrote this list, Nintendo had not yet announced their online service, and now that we do have a little bit more information about it, I am very skeptical and curious about what is Nintendo going to be doing with their non-NES library. It doesn't seem like they're going to be doing a virtual console, but you do have a Super Nintendo, you do have a GameCube, a Wii. What are you going to do with your legacy stuff? Because I think that the Xbox One X has really shown the potential, right, of when you can upscale older games that ran like crap back in the day, but now it's great. And this is going to be a recurring theme, talking about backwards compatibility. And I know that some people could complain like Juan, so you really just care about the older stuff regarding the new consoles? And the answer partially is yeah, because if there's something that the Xbox One X has shown, is that it's really nice to be able to have one console that can just play whatever. And sure, it doesn't have 100% compatibility, but at least we're getting enough titles that you're very excited to play. And I will love it with the Nintendo Switch, with the PS4 and the Xbox One X, that if I have a gaming library, I don't have to dust off my PlayStation 2. And not only that, you could actually beef it up a little bit with the PS4 Pro, or with the case of the Nintendo Switch, you can't physically put the disc in, but at least make it accessible that I can enjoy all of the Mario titles, all of the Zelda titles, without having to have one console and the other one. Now, there are a couple of games that I would love to see announced here, and it's more so in the way of sequels. First, talking about Mario Party. I think that the Nintendo Switch is tailor-made for a Mario Party game, and I think that I'm not the only person that got highly frustrated when they were like, oh, we're going to have a brand new Mario Party for 3DS. And everybody was like, why? You have this console that you can split it. There's two controllers. It is so easy to make this happen, Nintendo. Why are you not doing it? So please, I know that there's, often an ongoing debate about whether Mario Party is or is not a good video game. It's just fun. It's something that I think it's perfect to have it on the go, figure out a way to make it as accessible as possible. You can put it on sleep mode so you don't have to end one game in one direct, 1 to 2 hour session or something. But I think we are long overdue for a Mario Party on the Nintendo Switch. Another thing I would love on the Switch is a brand new WarioWare title, which we have a couple for the GameCube, for the Wii. I actually own one for the DS. And those games are very fun. And when they first came out, I didn't quite get it. I thought they looked kind of silly. Turns out that's the entire point. And it's these micro games that are so fun. And much like Mario Party, you would benefit from something like that. Think about the fact that you can, pull out the Switch, play it on the go a little bit. You do have the touchscreen support, so maybe you do have some touchscreen exclusive games. Maybe you don't. Think about something like Nintendo Labo. I think Nintendo could get a little creative with maybe adding some sort of feature with Labo just because of how crazy and unique it is. And they don't really have to do a lot with it, because I think that a lot of people do not even know what WarioWare is. I think that outside of online forums, outside of YouTube videos, whenever I bring those games up, most people are like, what is that? Are you talking about Wario Land and things like that? So I think that those are very much some underrated titles that, even though maybe you and me don't exactly see them like that, a lot of people don't know about them, and WarioWare is pretty awesome. Now, with this next one, I'm not going to talk about it too much because I do hope to make a video about this with a great friend of mine, and it is the Pokemon Switch game. I would simply love to know a little bit more details about this. Is it going to be the first 150 Pokemon, or are they going to expand on it? Personally, I hope they keep it simple. I want a nice, simplified game, something akin to maybe up to the point of Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire. I think that with Pokemon Switch, you're going to have a lot of people that they dropped off shortly after Gold, all of those pre, 3DS or DS games that they grew up watching the Pokemon series. They grew up with Game Boy Pocket, and Game Boy Color, and now maybe their parents, they have a Switch, and this is the perfect jumping point for, getting back into Pokemon. So I think that you started off with that, and then you can expand on it, because I highly doubt, considering Pokemon is a lean, mean, money-making machine, that we're just going to get 1 or 2 Pokemon games on the Switch. I could easily see about 6 of these bad boys coming out, and I would get most of them if the performance is good, and if they do some great compatibility stuff with maybe transferring Pokemon, or, having some pretty nice online battles. Plus, think about possibly having a co-op element with Pokemon. I'm not sure how that would work, but it would be pretty cool if you could sort of team up or be in the same world with somebody else, kind of like how Stardew Valley is kind of experimenting with that. It's 2018 Nintendo. I'm talking to you in particular. You're a little slow with online implementation. Please do something with Pokemon Switch. It does seem like this next one's not going to be too much of a surprise if it does end up happening, because there are rumblings about a brand new Zelda game in the works. I love Breath of the Wild, and I highly anticipate a brand new Zelda game coming out for the Nintendo Switch, because think about the fact that Breath of the Wild was not a Nintendo Switch game. It was a Wii U game. It came out for the Wii U, and it also came out for the Switch. So I would love for them to be able to really maximize the potential of the Switch, capitalizing on Breath of the Wild, maybe taking it back a couple of things, because I know that most people absolutely love Breath of the Wild. Actually, I have a video talking about that with Ryan in the channel, so I can link to that. I do think there is a middle ground where you can have something like A Link to the Past, Wind Waker, and Breath of the Wild sort of binding together for this perfect Zelda experience. And with the Nintendo portion of this video, this is going to be kind of hypocritical, because I personally don't really care for it, but it would be kind of cool if they announced Fortnite on the Nintendo Switch. Think about the fact that Fortnite is available on your phone, and that right now, you have your H1Z1 Battle Royale on the PS4, you have PUBG on the Xbox One, so what better way to really capitalize on the mobility aspect than by porting Fortnite over to the Switch? I think the Switch, I would hope that it is capable of running the game at a decent frame rate. You can take it on the go, you can watch it on TV. It just blends itself perfectly for just anybody that really wants to be able to experience Fortnite. And now let's talk about Sony and the PS4. And as I did mention at the beginning of the video, we do own a PS4 Pro and a 4K TV. So something that I'm personally excited for, or I'm anxious to see what they're really going to be doing, is how are they going to keep giving us incentives regarding the PS4 Pro? I think that, when you look at games like God of War, even Infamous Second Son, something like Yakuza 6, a lot of them do have awesome benefits that if you own a PS4, I can't really recommend that you upgrade unless they have a bundle or something like that. But if you don't own either one, it's like, hey, why not get the PS4 Pro? It's ugly as hell because it's like stairs. It's like a tiny set of stairs. But aside from that, it's definitely worth getting. So one of the first things I would love to see is a couple of new features for the PS4 Pro, something like Twitch streaming, which you can do on either one. It doesn't really give you a lot of options from the user interface side of things. You can switch the webcam, or you can have that ugly UI with the chat on the right side of the screen. But it would be cool if the Pro could maybe, add a little beef to it, and you could customize a couple of things, modernize things. I think people stream far more now than they did when the PS4 first came out and they added that share button. So definitely take advantage of that, Sony. Please add some more features for that. And I know I mentioned this on the Nintendo Switch part, but please, I have games for the PS3, the PS2, especially the Pro. You gotta be able to take advantage of those. Let me put those games in and have it read it. Because I did used to have one of those awesome backwards compatible PlayStation 3s, the really fat, huge one, but I got the yellow light of death. Nobody would repair it, so I ended up getting a PS3 Slim. And I do have the PS2, but it would be awesome to just have one console that can play all 4 generations. That would make me so happy, Sony. Come on, just please do it, because they already have PS Now, where they're kind of just, adding some backwards compatibility, but it's through streaming, and I hate it. And they do have the PS2 to PS4 titles on the PS4. So I guess what I'm saying is they're not going to be doing that because they're just charging us on the side for it. Awesome. And speaking of PS Now, Sony, look at Xbox Game Pass. I love that. It's $10 a month and you can download the games so you don't have to stream them. I did try PS Now. We have a fairly good internet connection. it is not something that I can recommend, especially for something like first-person shooter and fighting games. I think that cloud gaming, cloud computing is going to be the way that things go eventually. We're not there yet in many parts of the world. So please figure out an offline downloadable service where I can just enjoy legacy titles on my PS4. And this is not a big list because you got to pick and choose your battles. And my last battle is that I just want to get a release date for the Final Fantasy VII Remake. I don't know how they're going to be doing this because initially they said it was going to be episodic, but they haven't talked about that in a while. Personally, I'm just excited to get back into Midgar, into all of that awesome world, to get the music, to get the characters. I'm personally with the mindset, and I know this is kind of controversial, where I actually hope they don't keep the same fighting system, because if I just wanted to experience the same game in its original format, I already have a copy of Final Fantasy VII up there. So I actually hope that they change it, that they find a hybrid system that can try to please everybody, which I know is easier said than done. But please give me a release date for this, perhaps December, November 2018. I only have 2 different items on the Microsoft side of things because I haven't really played a lot of the titles. I do have the Xbox Game Pass service, so I still haven't played Sunset Overdrive. I'm kind of playing Gears of War 4. I hope that they do have some more exclusive titles, but I have enough consoles that me being completely egotistical, I don't need that many exclusive titles. I got a bunch of video games that I still have got to play. But speaking of Mario Party on the Nintendo side of things, I would love to see a brand new Fusion Frenzy on the Microsoft side of things. They do have the original Fusion Frenzy available on the Xbox Game Pass service, and I love playing it. It's okay. The second one was nowhere near as good as the first one, but I do like party games. I think they're a fun time waster. I love the Jackbox Party Pack, and I think it's nice to have a nice repertoire of party games. So when friends do come over, you can just hang out and have a little bit of fun. And with the second thing, I would simply like to know, what is Microsoft's vision going forward? Because they have the beefiest console with the Xbox One X, but it's not really moving numbers. And I really don't care about, sales numbers and all that. But as a consumer, the more people buy something, the more they can make something for it, and the more that other developers are going to be tempted, to create awesome things for us. So the less something sells, the less tempted people are going to be to invest in something like Xbox One X enhanced games. Xbox One X, man, that's a tongue twister for me. And now we're going to sprinkle on top of that E3 cake a couple of bonus items that I would love to see happen at this year's E3. First up, from the Capcom side of things, a brand new Mega Man Legends game. I love the first one, I love the second one, and I know that this was a project that actually was happening and they canceled it, but it does seem like Capcom knows they can make a little bit of money with Mega Man. We've seen that with the Mega Man X collection. The Mega Man collection came out on the Switch now. So hey, once you're done with that, you don't have a lot of options. Either that or remaster the Battle Network games, because those were awesome on the Game Boy Advance, and I would not mind having them released elsewhere. Talking about EA, I simply want Skate 4. I love Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I love Underground 3, 4. Underground 2 was okay. I love the demo for the first Skate game. I played that a lot. And I do have Skate 2 and 3, but I would love a new one. Just make a Skate 4. I don't have anything else written down. It's just make Skate 4 happen. When it comes to Ubisoft, I got 2 different items. First of all, I would love to know more about Division 2, and it does seem they stated they're going to be talking about it at E3, and I hope they do, because I think that Division, they definitely turned it around, and it's fun, and I have played it recently. I don't love it. I like it. I appreciate it. And as somebody that used to love to play SOCOM back in the day, I think that they can have this tactical cover shooter that has elements from SOCOM, Gears of War, all of these awesome shooters, pile it up into one massive online world. What does that look like? I don't know. I'm not a game developer. I just like to play good video games. So make Division 2 good, and look at something like Destiny 2, which I also played and beat, and don't do that. Do something else. And the final item for this video, something that I definitely hope becomes true. We've been getting reports about a possible new Splinter Cell game, and we haven't had one since about 2011, I think it was. I used to play the original ones. I loved them. The original one, Chaos Theory, all of those games. I love stealth games. I love Metal Gear Solid. So make another one. I think we're long overdue for that. I think that enough variety out there in 2018, 2019, which I would assume this would be like a late 2019, if not 2020 release. But hey, the more the merrier. Splinter Cell, welcome back, my friend. So folks, that has been it for my E3 wishlist video. I would love to know, what are some of the things that you're excited for? I think that my list is pretty tame. I think that as I've been able to grow up as a gamer, I have a lot more realistic expectations about the things that can or cannot happen. So let me know if you and I share some of the details, or if you have a completely different predictions or wishlist item for E3. Drop all of that awesome stuff in the comment section of the video. And folks, if you like this video, if you like everything that I do in the channel, you can help support me with a huge thumbs up. Hit that notifications button right after you subscribe, and check out everything else that I got going on right now on the channel. I've been a little bit sick over the past 2 weeks, so I've been having to force myself to speak a lot more. Hopefully everything gets worked out soon, because the energy has not really been there. I haven't been able to even go to work all that much, or even leave the house all that much. So this, as awesome as it is kind of become my prison at the same time. So I'm stuck with Waluigi here. He's pretty good company. But until next time, thank you for watching and supporting. And never forget, folks, that the epic journey continues. So thank you for watching, gang. Take care. And Waluigi, no offense, man. I like you, Waluigi. It's just like, you know, when you're concealed with somebody for an extended period of time and all they do is go, wah. It's like, dude, calm down, buddy. A little bit too much for me.